These days, the English Channel is the fast way to a French hypermarket. But 90 years ago, these waters were among the most treacherous in the world, thanks to a new German weapon, the U-boat. Now divers from Yorkshire have found two of them, missing since 1917. From Scarborough, here's Sophie Hull.
The East Coast means sun, sea and fun today. But if you look closely, there are still some relics of the days when a deadly menace lurked out there. In the First World War, the North Sea was a battleground for German U-boats preying on British shipping. Now, more than 80 years later, divers have found the Kaiser's last missing submarines off Scarborough, their crews still entombed inside.
People don't really realise that there's history from the First World War 10 miles from my home. People don't realise that submarines existed in the First World War.
Wreck hunter Andrew Jackson and his diving buddy Carl Racey discovered the UB-75 and the UB-41 within 24 hours after an 8-year search. Their locations a closely guarded secret. The wrecks are worth a fortune in scrap. Today I'm joining their expedition. The wrecks are in 200 feet of water where only the most experienced of divers can go. Carl and Andrew are taking me down part of the way so I can get a feel for wreck hunting. UB-41 lies where she sank, listing to port. Her propeller frozen in time. The conning tower still recognisable in the divers' lights. The gun that claimed several merchant ships points harmlessly skywards. Her bow has been blown off. 24 men died here. And this is still a dangerous place.
The lost fishing line, well, that's just waiting to snare you down there, so you really need good visibility to see what's happening and plenty of light.
Carl and Andrew have just 15 minutes at a time on their subs. The water pressure means they must spend long periods decompressing on the way up. Just a few years ago, the submarines would never have been found, but developments in diving and navigation equipment have made it possible. The discovery of the two wrecks finally lays to rest 58 men and rewrites the history books.
The records are wrong, for certain. At best vague, so we want to go to Germany, we want to tell them. They'll be the only people that we give the information to as to where they are, and then they can tell their relatives, and it'll solve a mystery for a lot of people.
Ending the mystery means travelling 300 miles to the Baltic coast. We've come to Kiel, once home to Germany's infamous U-boat wolf packs. This was the lair of the U-boat. More than 230 submarines were launched here. In 1917, U-boats began sinking all merchant vessels without warning. Unarmed ships at the mercy of a deadly weapon. Thousands of British mariners went down with their vessels to the bottom of the North Sea. But so did their enemy. This is Germany's only monument to the 35,000 submariners who lost their lives in 2 world wars. Thousands of these men are still missing in action. And all that their families know is that they never came home. 58 of those families were from 2 U-boats that are no longer missing, thanks to Andrew and Carl.
Yeah. All these people lost, yeah.
Mystery.
Oh, there's UB-75.
Well spotted.
This is the bit we've been missing, it's the human element. And, this is all that came back from these people, it's the names.
Yeah, it does bring it home.
Carl and Andrew already recognised some of those names.
We knew about this fella. This is Oberleutnant Max Plum. And he was the commander. And again, I'm not quite sure what his age was. He'd be less than 30. I mean, these people were all young because, they would go out and do this sort of thing. It was a pretty harsh environment. And you had to be young and daft to go out and do this sort of thing.
The names may be there, but the other details are wrong. Both boats were found 20 miles from where they're thought to have disappeared. Time to set the record straight. We're off to the U-boat archive in Cuxhaven to share Carl and Andrew's discovery with a man who's made it his life's work to preserve the memories of Germany's U-boats. Horst Bredau was the only survivor of his U-boat crew. Now he maintains a huge database on the lost subs, and it's not every day he gets news like this.
We think we found the other two missing U-boats off the Yorkshire coast, the UB-41 and the UB-75.
You also found them now?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Herr Bredau has a surprise for them. Pictures of their subs.
41.
That's so good.
That's a very good
41.
Must be great for you guys to see it in motion and, rather than some of these
31
static
too, that's
shots.
31 on the home way.
To see the detail, see people on board, it's superb.
These men were the true pioneers of submarine warfare. The vessels were hard mistresses. Crew and officers often referred to them as iron coffins or sisters of sorrow.
Just arrived on the wreck. I'm now kneeling on the pressure hull.
Is it very different to look at it on screen like this rather than looking at old black and white photographs and lists of crew names? Is this
I know
make
that
it more real?
if you are involved in this, if you have been U-boat man yourself, you have always the same feeling. It moves my heart.
The big mystery is what sank the two boats. Horst Bredau believes a mine claimed the UB-41. What happened to these men?
They were killed.
All of them?
Immediately dead. By a mine, there's no other possibility on a U-boat.
Is it useful to know where UB-41
It's
is?
very useful. It's very useful for us, and it's also important for the relatives. An old mother of 92 years, she lost her son off a boat, and when she got the information where the boat lies, where the boat is with her son, she wrote me, now I can die quietly, now I know where my son is.
Now the whereabouts of the last missing submariners in the North Sea are known, Andrew and Carl are determined to protect their resting place.
There are people who don't respect these war graves. They're quite prepared to go down there and blow them to pieces, pull pieces off, sell them for scrap metal. We feel responsible to protect them in some way, and we'll be keeping an eye out on them, make sure nobody abuses them.
And you can see more of those remarkable underwater pictures on our website. That's it for this week's programme. We'll be back next Wednesday. The ruthless carjackers plaguing a city near you. Also, the £3,000 wedding accessory that turns your new wife into Kylie. And the extraordinary day Muhammad Ali flew 3,000 miles to Tyneside. I'm Morland Sanders, and that was Inside Out Extra.